Welcome back to OpenLine. We're talking about Tennessee's Season to Remember, which helps the families of violent crime victims, and an emotional discussion in the first part of the program. And we're happy to have with us Tina Fox from Board of Parole, and also Jimmy Hayward Bradford, the father of Taylor, and Marva Taylor Bradford, the mother of Taylor Bradford. And as we went to break, I wanted to ask, your story is so emotional, so difficult. What has gotten you through? And I ask the question for those out there who may be going through the same thing. And I see what you all have been through, and I just wonder, how do you do it? What has gotten you through this? And I'll start with you, Marva.
Okay. Ben, I think, first of all, it's my faith. A lot of times you never know what God's plan is in terms of bringing you a lot of pain, but you have to hold on to a faith that says it's okay. Someone's going to take care of you. You may not understand why it happened, but you're going to survive. You're going to make it through it. I guess what I found, I think men and women grieve differently. Men and women look at the loss of loved one, not saying that they don't experience the pain, but one thing I found with Jimmy and myself, I have wonderful memories. As a mother, I was there at all the football games. I was there when they would look up to see Taylor and Vincent. You saw I made that stop, or I did that tackle. Even though sometimes football fields are a little bit further away, but I knew Taylor's legs. So I knew sometimes what was going on, and also if he or Vincent would turn around to look, they were looking to see if mom saw it.
Right.
Dad, of course, dads are always working. My husband was assistant principal at Stratford during that particular time. So he was maybe at other football games. But when it came playoff time, both of us were there in terms of that. And I think because they were all athletes and I was the cheerleader, we kind of had those roles to play. But I can tell when Jimmy is having one of those moments when he's quietly and just looks like he's somewhere else, that's a moment where he's having some contemplation. He's thinking about Taylor, and I just kind of leave him alone. I love to talk about Taylor, and a lot of times I didn't realize what a great son I had. Everywhere we go, usually there's a Taylor story. Someone will tell us something that he did. One of the moms of one of his high school friends said, Taylor, does your mom know you have that car? He said, yes, ma'am. No, I didn't. But I was out of town that weekend, but I learned a lesson that I don't leave my car keys at home, in terms of doing that. So it's
Right.
it's always a good memory, or something. One of his YPD director at church, again, they were good buddies, and she said something about, well, I let Taylor drive to such and such, and I'm thinking, okay, Taylor doesn't have his license. But okay, she was in the car with him. But it's little things like that. Or another person would tell me that Taylor was playing with their child and he read him a book when we were at the park. We had taken the young people, that kind of thing. Again, he was a huge child, 280 pounds. Do I have that right?
Good grief, wow.
So he was a football player, but a big old teddy bear, and very friendly, very outgoing. And I would tell him sometimes, I think if somebody took you, they would bring you back to me.
I think sometimes people don't know, and it's interesting, so you like to hear stories, and maybe men and women grieve differently and all that. I think that is interesting. I think sometimes people don't know what to do, and they don't, maybe, so they don't say anything. So did you encounter that, and is that good or bad? I guess what do you want people, how do you want people to react? And I'll ask you that.
Well, like my wife said, we grieve kind of differently. like I said, I have my good days and I have my bad days. I go to the cemetery a lot. Our church is the rock for me. And I can feel a lot of prayers, you know. And I ask for prayers. Tell the Spirit is moving. And like I said, people come up to us all the time. They had aired first 48 and after the first 48 when this happened in Memphis, and they were stationed in Memphis, so they shot. And it comes on by once a month.
You're talking about the TV show.
The TV
the first
show.
48. Yeah, I've seen that.
First 48 and after the first 48.
Right.
And it's
Did it highlight?
they did tell
Really?
the and so it's called The Longest Yard.
Okay.
And every time they show that.
So this is a show, if I may just let people know, it's a show about the process the detectives go through in finding a murderer. And Memphis is one of the police departments. I think there are other cities they highlight, but Memphis is one.
Right.
So your son was highlighted in that.
Was highlighted, and it's called The Longest Yard, and it airs probably about once a month. It was pretty regular when it first happened, but like I said, every time they show it, someone either calls or sends us cards out of the blue, giving sympathy, you know, and condolence, and tell the Spirit lives on. And when he passed, instead of flowers, we asked people to, we have a scholarship set up at Lee Chapel AME Church, and people are still sending funds into the church. And we honor a senior every year at our church. They have to apply, and then we read the application and we choose one, and they get the Taylor Bradford Scholarship Fund. And so, like I said, his spirit lives on. And the latest one was Jim Harris out of Wisconsin. Howard Groves, Wisconsin. He saw the show, saw both shows, played phone tag for about 6 months. He called me. He saw, I kept the car. I wasn't about to leave the car in Memphis.
Right.
So we got the car back to Nashville, and I just stored it behind the house, covered it up. I would take it off and wax it and sit in it and look at it and on certain days. But Mr. Harris called. He saw the 48, and he said to his wife and family, said, "I can fix that car." So he called me and said, "Hey, from my family to your family, I want to come down, I want to get the car." He came down, got it, kept it for 11 months, brought it back this spring.
Wow.
It's in mint. It's a 79 Lincoln Continental Town car.
So that's been very positive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the tendency of some would be to withdraw. And you all clearly have not. You're active in your church. That's part of what a season to remember is. It's the community at this tough time of year, bringing everyone together, going through a similar horrific situation, and don't withdraw. Is that part of it as well as recognition, but also to bring them together so that they don't withdraw? Is that right?
Yes, sir, that is correct. It's essentially allowing the community to understand that you're not walking the journey alone, and that you're not in this journey by yourself. And being, you will be amazed when we get together for this event that victims are at awe when they walk in there, and you hear the conversations from a distance, and and you hear things like, wow, I didn't know these many people were in this same situation. And so it becomes a community, it becomes a network of immediate friendships, of hugs and kisses from people who didn't know each other, but they embrace each other immediately because they understand that they begin to know that they are walking their journey with someone who gets it.
All right, we have to take a break, and I do want to talk more about the notion of withdrawing or not withdrawing, because I bet too many people do, and you all are good examples of how that church community helped and how being out there helps. And we're also going to bring on your son, Taylor's brother. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.